Hi everyone, this is Nick. I designed a chart, or a slide rather, like this recently for my work. And you know I work in places like zoos, museums, aquariums. And what we do is we do visitor studies where we watch people and how they experience the space. So a lot of that times if you go to a museum exhibit, you'll see lots of different labels or signs, interpretive signs on different exhibits that you see. And one thing that we always do is called timing and tracking, where we actually watch unobtrusively visitors, where they go, what they do, what they attend to, what they read. In this case, I had 14 different signs that I was looking at, and I wanted to see how many visitors passed through that space and how many of them attended to the signs or looked at the signs both before and after we installed a new set of interpretive signage. And so I thought this was a really great way to sort of show it. It's this back-to-back or top-to-bottom column chart, and I think it looks pretty chic. It looks pretty snazzy, and you can really tell here that there are some big differences in the before group from the after group. But this is a really simple slide to make, and I want to sort of just impress this upon everyone. This is actually two different charts, and it's just a bunch of shapes and text on the slide that you can arrange in a really nice way. You don't have to know how to code in Python or some other more complex sort of software to try and get a chart like this to work. You can actually just do it inside of PowerPoint, put lots of different things on the slide, and then if your end result or your deliverable is a static sort of printout, then nobody is going to be any the wiser that this is just a whole bunch of things on the slide kind of designed and arranged really strategically. So let me escape out of this slide. I want to just show you a couple little tips that we want to show here. So this is my PowerPoint slide right here. I'm just gonna go through and click through all the things that I have here. So this is just a normal column chart that I've edited to be very effective. So things like removing the grid lines, we put direct labels onto the bars, we made the bars a little chunkier and thicker, and then this is just another chart. I'm going to show you how to make this chart upside down or flip this chart up. That's one of the keys to this type of chart. And then right here you can see just this is a rectangle shape with rounded corners. So you just go up to the Insert tab right here, the Shapes menu, and you can see this rectangle with rounded corner. We have that option. I just duplicated this object 14 times and I inserted the text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of that inside of the text. So that was a pretty easy thing. These are just text boxes right here. And then another great best practice is on the top of your slide or your chart, make sure that title is a nice key takeaway, not just before and after sign installation. I want everybody to know that the number of visitors who stopped or read all those signs increased in the after group right there. Okay, so here's my next slide. This is the slide that's probably more common to what you are seeing. You can see this is the chart, and by default, you're probably going to have this y-axis right here, this vertical axis with showing 0 to 100%. And then you're also going to have the x-axis, the horizontal axis that gives you the numbers here. Now, I think a lot of people think that you have to have both of those axes in your charts. You don't really have to do that. You can get rid of them. So you can either just backspace to delete them, or let's see if you have this horizontal axis selected right here, we can go down to the Format Axis menu that pops up, and if you go down to the label caret right there, you can see right here it says next to axis. Instead of that, we can just say none. So let's just go ahead and say none. That works really nicely. Now I'm going to do the same thing here because I want the plot areas of each chart to be the same. So I'm just going to get rid of this axis. I'm going to say none so that there's no labels on that horizontal axis. Now how do I get this flipped upside down? Somebody thought maybe we had to switch all of these values to negative, which if these were negative values, that would inherently put the bars below 0. But let's just click on this vertical axis right here, the y-axis. When that Format Axis menu pops up, you also have this little checkbox here that says values in reverse order. Just go ahead and click that, and there you go. You have a beautiful chart. Now the thing is, for a back-to-back chart like this, you want to make sure that both of these horizontal axes values, the minimum and maximum, is the same. Because if they were to be different, then that's going to skew things. That's going to make things look disproportional. So make sure that both of those charts, if you're doing this back-to-back treatment, make sure that they are both the same. They're both set to 100. So right now, I'm just going to go backspace to delete this. And I'm going to go ahead and backspace to delete this. Now I'm actually seeing something. If you zoom in, you can see that right here, the labels, getting rid of those labels, how we did it, actually did not change the fact that we still have this axis here, this line with tick marks. And I don't actually want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and backspace that. I can go ahead and delete that as well. And I'm going to go and backspace this. I could backspace that if I wanted to, but let me show you another way to get rid of this. If you want to keep that axis active in your chart, just go ahead to the Format Axis menu and under Line right here, instead of, right now it's set to automatic, it's that gray, we're just going to go ahead and say no line. And if I do no line, then none of the lines will appear. But that axis is still there if you click it. Now in this, since I've deleted it, I can't actually click that axis if I wanted. I'd have to bring it back. And how you bring it back is just click on this little skittle right here, the little plus sign, and right under axis value, you can click on, I want my horizontal axis back, and it'll bring everything back there. Or I can just unselect it and none of the axes will be there. That's actually another great tip. If we had all the axes all together and we just wanted to get rid of everything, all we needed to do is click on that little plus sign and get rid of uncheck the axis box, and all of the axes will be gone from that. So there's a whole bunch of ways to do the exact same thing in PowerPoint, which is one of the cool things about it. You can kind of learn yours, and if you have other ways to do things like this, I'd love for you to share them in the comments. Now we just need some stylization. I'm going to sort of zoom out. You can see on the pasteboard, I've already got my axis, my sign labels right here. I'm just going to nudge those over here with my arrow key. I'm going to put them in the exact beautiful position that I want them to be in. I think that looks pretty good. And then my before and after labels, these are just text boxes that I'm going to strategically align with that, with the other sign labels right there. Now look at this, put it in slideshow mode for a full slide view. It's a really nice back-to-back chart, a back-to-back column chart. It's not one chart, it's actually two charts that we sort of manipulated on the slide to sort of look like one. So the entire thing on the slide looks like one big visualization as opposed to those charts. So that's just something that you should keep in mind when you're doing PowerPoint data viz and data design, is that you can do so many more things on that slide. And because the end deliverable is probably a PDF or a presentation like this, nobody's going to know that you have all of these little extra little design elements here along the slide. So you don't have to keep those chart defaults. You can kind of create your own with shapes and text and lines and things like that, and really make that design your own. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up and make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell next to it. You'll get notified every time I post a new video in data design. Hope you all have a great day, had a great time making this for you, and I cannot wait to see you next time.